All right, what's up everybody? This is Chase here at Redline Jiu Jitsu. This is Houston, my assistant today. And we're gonna be talking about an extremely common scenario that happens, especially when you're brand new, if you're a white belt or still a blue belt developing, is escaping the bottom of the mount. And we're just gonna do 5 mount escapes. They're gonna get increasingly more difficult to perform as we get to the list. So if you're an advanced person or you just want the most advanced escape, make sure you wait to the end of the video because that's where that one will be. But we'll start pretty basic. We'll even show how to connect the escapes together. And then we'll end with a little bit more advanced escape if I really have to use this one last minute. All my other options are exhausted. So now this first one we're gonna talk about is the trap and roll. I typically like to do it when his hands are on the ground. So I wanna bridge, get his hands to the ground in this position. My arm can shoot up at his elbow and trap his arm here. I like to hold the tricep, trap his foot, my hand's gonna point, and I'm gonna bridge and roll over. And now I'm on top. We're not gonna go over too much guard passing today. We'll cover that maybe in a future video right here. So when we talk about the trap and roll in this position, is whenever his hands get to the ground, I wanna make sure that my hand shoots up and I'm going for the elbow. I don't want to go to the wrist. His arm's too strong at that angle, so I shoot and I break it down at his elbow. Now, what I don't want him to do is rip his arm out. So one thing I can do to help secure it is my hand's going to make this kind of monkey cup, and I'm going to cup it right behind the tricep. Now, if he tries to pull the arm out, it's extremely stuck and he's lifting my whole body. My foot's going to trap his foot. I point my finger, and we bridge and roll over. So the next escape we're going to talk about is something called the elbow escape. Okay, so the elbow escape, same thing. I bridge, I get his hands to the ground, but maybe I'm having a hard time breaking his arm down. So now I'm going to put my elbow on the inside of his leg. I'm going to straighten my leg on the same side, and I'm going to scrape my leg underneath. Now I trap his leg, I control his head, and we can go all the way to my guard. Right here where my feet are crossed around his hips, and I can start to attack. It's a much better position. It's not as good as being on top, but it's better. So when he's in this position, there's 2 ways I can do this. Number 1, I can put my elbow on the inside of his knee, or if I need a little extra reinforcement, I can put my frame across his hip. There's different reasons for different scenarios, but I'm pushing on his thigh. Now my knee is on the ground and it's gonna scrape underneath of his leg, and then now my foot traps his leg. My hand's gonna come out, control the head, I push on the other side, and now I'm out into the full guard position. So this next one is a little bit of a combination. It's how to combine them together. So he's gonna be sitting up. Okay, we're in this position. I bridge, I get his hands to the ground, and now I go for his arm. And maybe I'm able to break his arm down, but in the middle of my trap and roll, his hand rips out and it stops my move. That's the main way he's gonna try to stop my move, is right there. So from this position, watch my leg. It's gonna come off and I'm gonna immediately start to elbow escape. Okay? So whenever I go for this trap and roll and I trap his arm, I wanna make sure this is secure. But sometimes life isn't perfect. So now as I go to roll, his arm's gonna rip out and it stops my move. So immediately, look, my hips are still lifted. My elbow goes to the inside and I start to straighten my leg. And I get my leg out, I start to trap, and we're escaping. We can do it vice versa too, depending on what Houston is doing right here. Sometimes I'm going for my elbow escape, and then he starts to hug my head with his arm like a crossface, and then this is a good opportunity for me now to go into a trap and roll here too. I may do a whole video, future video of just ways to do trap and rolls. There's probably about, I don't know, 20, 30 different ways just to do trap and rolls. So, next one is dealing with if I had maybe a little bit poor of a bottom of the mount. So I was maybe trying to escape or move, and I ended up turning too far to my side. So now we're what we call a modified mount or a technical mount, basically where his knee is on by my head and this foot is up. This is a bad position because essentially I've taken out 2 of my options of the trap and roll and my elbow escape. I can't get my leg underneath because his foot's doing a good job here. His knee's by my head. So if I could, I would like to turn my shoulders back to the mat, but he's not letting me. He's doing a good job at keeping this position. So from here, I need to create some space. So I'm gonna take my elbow, I'm gonna wedge it into the bend of his knee. I'm gonna shrimp. I pull my feet and I shrimp into Houston. Now my top knee is gonna come inside right here. I'm gonna control the ankle and I drive my knee into him. From this position, we can start to sit up. We can start to play with leg locks, foot locks. I can move his leg over, start to pass. There's all kinds of techniques from there. So we are here, I turned on my side, he modified. If I just try to drive right now, my knee's not gonna come in. I've gotta wedge my elbow into the bend of his knee and shrimp into him. It seems weird that I'm shrimping into him. Now my top knee is gonna come inside. My hand, make sure it cups the ankle right here or else you're not gonna be able to get him to fall over. Now I drive my knee into him and he starts to fall. From this position, I can start to sit up, start to attack some leg locks, or come to this upward position, try to pass from here. All right, the last one from this position. So if you Houston sits up for me right here. I call this the house on fire, the last minute risky method escape. So, right, if none of my moves are working, I can't elbow escape, I can't trap and roll, and I absolutely have to get out. I need to get out. It's a risky variation, but it's a high reward if you get it. Is believe it or not, we're gonna purposely expose our back. I know that's kind of like anti-Jiu Jitsu, it's not what you're supposed to do, but if you do it in a skillful way, it can be beneficial. So watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna end up turning to my side. And now Houston does a good job at modifying. He's getting ready to take my back. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn, but immediately as I turn, I'm not gonna stay in this turtle position. I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna immediately put my foot out and drive my shoulders to the mat. So from here, now he had no chance to get his seatbelt control or moving his hooks. From this position, I can move and I can start to escape and we're out. So like I said, it's a high risk, high reward. So if I turn and I take too much time, and we turn like this, oh man, he's gonna get my back, he's gonna choke me, he's gonna fall over his shoulder. Go ahead, lock your hand. Yeah, and now I'm gonna be dealing with an even worse scenario, right? But if I can execute it to where it's all in one motion, we go to turn over, and I'm here, right? I turned my back before he ever had a chance to put in his hooks, to get a seatbelt grip, or any of that position. Now, like I said, that's a risky method. Your coach may not like that right away, but it's one way that if the house is on fire, you can definitely do that, right? You're in the turtle position, and the key thing is that I put my foot out, I have to drive my shoulders to the ground. If you don't drive your shoulders to the ground, he's gonna end up choking you. So good luck, give it a try, and I'll see you guys next time.